I wake up rich while you're still dreaming. Eyes on the screen, got the tape still screaming. Flipping these charts like I'm stacking a deck. Trade with conviction, no time for regrets. I hedge my bets, you hedge excuses. Blaming the market, but you make the losses. Burning accounts like a match to the wick. Call it bad luck, but you're just bad at this. Fool's gold, diamond hands, paper chase, broken plans. You're still trying to time the top while I'm moving with the trend. Talking big, calling plays, but you're slow to pull the blade. I don't wait, I don't flinch, I just execute and win. Live it up, never down. We stack it up while they cash it out. Take the risk, make the calls. You hold too long, you lose it all. Trends don't bend, odds don't break. They trade on vibes, I move with faith. Live it up, never down. They fold the hand, we run the town. I hit the tape, see the prince move early. You're chasing highs, I'm already sturdy. You trust the news, I trust the math. You're scalping crumbs, I'm building stacks. I flip these apex plays like switches. Move so clean, got the broker suspicious. Trading in ranges, you're stuck in a cage. Putting up numbers, they reading my page. Fool's gold, diamond hands, paper chase, broken plans. You still trying to time the top while I'm moving with the trend. Talking big, calling plays, but you're slow to pull the blade. I don't wait, I don't flinch, I just execute and win. Live it up, never down. We stack it up while they cash it out. Take the risk, make the calls. You hold too long, you lose it all. Trends don't bend, odds don't break. They trade on vibes, I move with faith. Live it up, never down. They fold the hand, we run the town. Say it's rigged, call it fate, but I'm still ahead today. Every chart's a battlefield, I got war paint on my face. Thinking hope is strategy, that's why you can't replicate. Every move is calculated, every win's deliberate. Limit up, never down. We stacking up while they cashing out. Take the risk, make the calls. You hold too long, you lose it all. Trends don't bend, odds don't break. They trade on vibes, I move with faith. Live it up, never down. They fold the hand, we run the town.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, Vietnam. Folks, I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic morning. I hope yesterday was a big tendy day for you, and it does look like we are setting up for a nice, easy tendy day today. I'm very excited because in my dreams, in my sleep, I was picturing this setup right here. Everything we're seeing right now, I think, is ideally, fingers crossed, knock on wood, setting up for a beautiful trading day. So we have a lot to chit chat about. First of all, we have some exciting announcements related to all the music that you guys have been hearing. So that will be not only tomorrow when we're having Payday Friday, but everything, those musics, we've heard you guys, you're basically threatening our lives if we don't release the music to all of you. So my producer who's making all that music, Chaos, and I both would rather keep our lives. So we will be getting that music out to you. Tomorrow's a big day. Big announcement tomorrow. So we're going to be doing that all with Payday Friday. So I just want to throw that out there to all of you. So tomorrow, Payday Friday, big music announcement. And there's actually an even bigger giveaway tomorrow that Vanquish is doing. So make sure to check out Twitter and the socials and all that stuff. So just want to give you a quick update there. Here's the plan. Market's looking good. I'm seemingly getting pretty fortunate, lucky with some of my swing positions. So I'm excited for market open because I'm looking at NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is up a nice 1.85% in pre-market trading after gaining 5% yesterday. Everyone in the Discord knows that I'm swinging a heavy NVIDIA call position. So should be interesting. I'm very excited for market open. But between now and then, there's some things we need to get into. So we're going to be doing a little bit of political drama, but right now it feels like we're in the eye of a hurricane with political drama. It feels like it was crazy. Market having massive swings every day. Now, like, we're in that calm spot, but we could also see there's another storm coming up for us to get through this whole situation. So little short update there, overall market update, and then I have some individual equities because we are in earnings season. Don't forget the big one today after market closes is Amazon. AMZN will be reporting after the market closes today. So don't forget about that. And we also have a big unemployment report tomorrow morning before the market opens. So I just want to get that out of the way very, very quickly. And with that being said, let's show you guys what in the world is going on. Stock futures are little changed after latest batch of earnings reports. Also this morning, we did get a initial jobless claims coming in a little bit higher than expected. But regardless, ever since the super choppy opening yesterday, it was kind of choppy up until 10:15, 10:30, something like that. And then since then, we just exploded to the upside. We gave a little bit back early this morning, and that most likely related to the Bank of England cutting their interest rates. But obviously, we bounced off the high from yesterday anyway, which means there is a downside gap in play today. So I just want to call that out. Similar situation with the Qs. Very choppy up until about 10:30 yesterday. And then from there, we exploded. Very strong around 4 a.m. Gave some back. And right now we are a similar situation, a baby little upside gap fill. Exciting one to watch today is NVIDIA. It is crushing. It is looking great. Broadcom's looking good too. And actually even Rumble had a really good day. And I was looking at what's going on with the daily chart of Rumble just before stream started. It's consistently holding this trend line. The longer it does, I'm looking for this consolidation breakout to the upside, but I like the pattern of higher lows. I'm looking for the breakout of 1420. And honestly, this is the perfect time to shout out to today's stream sponsor. I'm talking about Rumble Premium. Folks, if you've been following the Matt Kohrs show for really since the start, you know that I've had serious, legitimate issues on YouTube to the fact that they've banned me 3 times, 4 times. One time I just got hacked and lost my entire account. It's been a battle for years now. You know where I've never had an issue? It is over on Rumble, which shout out specifically to the Rumble audience. I appreciate you supporting me over there. And I really appreciate what this platform is doing. It is clearly carrying the mantle of free speech. And because of that, for years now, it was always attacked. Obviously, with the changing of the guard in U.S. politics and cultural sentiment to people, once again, caring about truth, Rumble's now looking really good. So, from just where the ethos of the company, I've always liked it. And right now, shout out to Rumble Premium because you could use that code KOHRS10, KOHRS10. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. You will get breaks. So the way there's like that YouTube Premium, same thing. That's what Rumble Premium is. So you're not going to have the ads anymore. You're going to take a break from them. Gain exclusive access to premium content from Steven Crowder, Dr. Disrespect, and more. So we got some of the political commentary. We got some of the gaming. You get a verified badge. And beyond just supporting the company that truly has been leading the fight for free speech, obviously, if you happen to be an investor in it, and I know many of you watching this right now are, obviously, this is just good for the company itself. Obviously, with that being said, I'm biased because I really like the company. That's why I put all my content on Rumble, and it's also why I'm invested in the stock. So I just want to let you know that right now they're running a pretty cool deal. Don't forget to use that code right here in the top of your screen, KOHRS10. It's pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. Get your subscription because from reading what's just the tea leaves, reading the writing on the wall, they're just adding to it. So your subscription is going to be great right now, but it seems like you're going to be getting even more as time continues to pass and as they develop as a platform. So shout out to Rumble Premium. Don't forget to use that code KOHRS10. Support Rumble, support free speech, support, a little bit of sanity, if you will. All right. And with that going on, we might as well transition over to some of the political stuff. Trump flashes newfound imperialist streak in the White House return. From Panama to Greenland, president shows expansionist streak. Does anyone else find it interesting that the tactic of Trump doing a bunch of bombastic out there things in such quick succession has actually worked to the point of media just doesn't know how to respond to it? Because by the time they're done writing up one article, there's already another bigger piece of news shadowing the thing that they were already writing about. And we're no longer really in that 2-week news cycle where a politician does something and then all the talking heads on lamestream media talk about it for 2 weeks straight, and then they finally move on to the next one. Now, there's multiple things of that caliber news that Trump does per day that it really truly feels like mainstream media just doesn't know how to handle it. Like truly, by the time they are done with one and they give it to their editor, they're like, no, we need you working on this one. Why were you like that news was from 2 hours ago. We have something from half an hour ago. What are you doing, man? It's an interesting tactic. And if you told me this was the plan from the get-go, I don't think I would have ever thought it worked, but it clearly is working. President Donald Trump has discovered a new panacea for the problems of the world: American imperialism. His surprise proposition, to take control of the ravaged Gaza Strip was just the latest signal in his new foreign policy doctrine revolves around expanding the U.S. footprint across the globe. I don't know how many of you listened to the White House press secretary yesterday. She was getting a lot of questions of this, of like, wait, so you're going to take it over and kick everyone out, rebuild it, and then have them come back? And she didn't really have definitive answers on anything, but it does seem to just be like another just like, it's just a Hail Mary. Like, let's just put a big piece of news out there. And I guarantee you by the end of today, there's going to be another piece of news that everyone's going to get like already forget about this one. That's just been the pace. It's an absurdly high pace. Trump has only been back in office for 17 days. In that time, he's called for Canada to become the 51st U.S. state, which is still one of the funniest, urged Denmark to sell Greenland, and said that the U.S. needs to retake the Panama Canal. I don't understand how the news cannot report on this in a logical sense where, of course, I mean, this is literally from his own book. You come in super hot, you come in super heavy, you come in super extreme. So then by the time you negotiate to the middle, you're actually getting exactly what you want. So we're going to retake the Panama Canal. No, he basically just wanted to secure this, like really secure the security there, basically taking it away from China. And guess what? Panama broke their contracts with China as it relates to the ingress and egress point of the Panama Canal. With Denmark, everyone started to realize, wow, Greenland really isn't its own country anyway. Denmark owns it, but it has its own democratically elected government. It is allegedly autonomous. But once again, it's a security thing related to as the ice caps melt. There's going to be more shipping routes that open up in the Atlantic. And obviously, in terms of security, with Russia and China already controlling the area, the U.S. wants to have a foothold there. And then also when it comes to the, I guess, hard and soft metals of Greenland, there's a lot of important ones. Like, it is a good economic opportunity. That's exactly why we already have players like Jeff Bezos and who is it? Bill Gates. They already have big business dealings going on there for the commodities like that are within Greenland. And then Canada, the 51st state one, that's just to like make fun of Trudeau, and Trudeau's on his way out anyway. No one even liked him. So I fully admit it's kind of hard to discern like reality from more of his like comedic ability, which maybe that is a quality thing, maybe it's not a quality thing, but at least it gives people like myself entertainment. At least it gives us something to all talk about on a day-to-day basis. And he hasn't ruled out using military force to advance his aims. When asked about deploying troops to secure the hotly contested Middle East territory or the critical waterway connecting the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans, Trump said he'd consider whatever was necessary. This is a lot of Trump talk, and it's ruffling a lot of feathers, but similar to Elon Musk, it's also getting a job done. So with this, right now, it does feel, as I alluded to at the start of the show, that we're in the eye of a hurricane. Like, things are a little quiet, and we just came from like a whole barrage of news. And I think this up really the end of this week, starting tomorrow with the unemployment report, going into the weekend and next week, I feel like we have a whole additional barrage of news coming in. But day over day, it's just more and more and more. And I'm astonished at the pace of this right now. China says it will protect its own interest by face of U.S. bullying. So we know the hot news really at the start of this week was the whole tariff thing of like, okay, we're tariffing Canada, we're tariffing Mexico, and that lasted for not even a day. And then he went on and said, hey, we're doing it with China. And the assumption was that they were kind of going to bend the knee as quickly as Canada and Mexico did. And they didn't. We right now have a vague sense that at some point Trump and Xi Jinping will be having a call, but there's nothing set in stone. Obviously, they did retaliate. I'm saying that with quotes because what they did was much more for headlines than anything else. For example, the U.S. is now going to be tariffing around $250 billion worth of Chinese goods at 10%, and China retaliated with $14 billion. So it's far smaller. They did take the interesting route of opening up seemingly a bogus antitrust monopoly case, looking into Google, and then that kind of spread on to Apple as well. So individual stocks, Google and Apple, took a big hit from China's, protecting itself. But if you ask me, I don't know when. Obviously, I'm not being brought into these calls, but I really do think at one point they're just going to come to an agreement, and then that's going to push things even higher. I've been laying that out in the most recent 2 update videos of the scenario in which we could easily pushing to new all-time highs. Obviously, when it comes to any short-term prediction like that, there's never a guarantee. There's just increase and decrease probabilities. But as this particular narrative continues to develop, I truly do believe for the overall market, the probability of going to a new all-time high is increasing day over day over day. And that's exactly where I'm putting my own money. And I'll even show you my positions right around market open. China has toughened its tone following the Trump administration opening salvo of tariff trades. In this face of one-sided acts of bullying, China will definitely take necessary measures to firmly protect its own rights and interests. And that was from their own Ministry of Commerce. So yeah, they have to talk the talk. No one wants to be embarrassed. No one wants to get big dicked on the national stage, especially a giant country such as China, very impactful country such as China. So this is the rhetoric that you're going to have to get used to, especially in the short term. This is the stuff we have to pay attention to. But remember, there's always these headlines, and then there's always the important information under the headlines, the actual news. So yes, we got the news of China retaliates, but then you have to dive into the news. We live in a world where I know we run on just the headlines and we're all magically experts overnight, but to make good, informed, reasonable decisions with your finances in the market, it does behoove you to dive a little bit deeper and understand the actual things going on rather than just becoming a headline expert. So just wanted to quickly remind everyone of that. And now moving on to another country, the Bank of England, the BOE, which is equivalent to our Fed, this is obviously just for England, restarts its monetary easing, cutting key rates to 4.5%. The Bank of England, the BOE, made its first interest rate cut of 2025 this morning amid ongoing concerns over sluggish growth in the British economy. The central bank cut its key interest rate by 25 basis points down to 4.5%. This was expected. Remember, technically the BOE, it did break off from the EU. So you have the ECB, the European Central Bank, but then you have the BOE, the Bank of England. They're both central bank governing bodies for their respective zones. So like I said, important to follow this, but with us, it's really going to be the US Fed that is so much more important. And we actually did just get some commentary from the Treasury Secretary, the newly elected Treasury Secretary. I guess newly selected and approved is probably the best way to say it. Anyway, Besant says Trump wants to lower 10-year yields, not Fed cuts. So this is a little bit insightful of Trump's plan because myself, we've even covered the news on this channel. We've talked about it for over the past couple of weeks of Trump seemingly very much wanting to put pressure on Jerome Powell, the chairman of our Fed, to cut rates. But now we're actually getting a little bit more of an in-depth view here. So let me explain what's going on. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that Trump's administration focus with regard to bringing down borrowing costs is 10-year Treasury yields rather than the Federal Reserve's benchmark short interest rate term. Remember, the Fed's interest rate, that's much more impactful on the 2-year. They're much more correlated than the 10-year. He and I are focused on the 10-year Treasury. He is not calling for the Fed to lower rates. Bessent repeated his view that expanding energy supply will help lower inflation. For working class Americans, the energy component for them is one of the surest indicators for long-term inflation expectation. So if we can get gasoline back down, heating oil back down, then those consumers not only will be saving money, but their optimism for the future will help them rebuild from the recent years of high inflation. This is a big pivot in the messaging, and this just came out, obviously posted on Bloomberg. Before this, I think if we all were paying attention, we would assume that the base case was, yes, Trump putting pressure on Jerome Powell to cut the Fed fund rate. This is the first update that no. Actually, if anything, this is relieving the, I guess, headline for us, all of us normies. Maybe Jerome Powell already knew this, but with respect to the rest of the world and the market actively knowing, it does not seem like Trump is going to be in there telling Jerome what to do with respect to it, the really Fed cuts. It seems like he's going to be going about it the other way, which is why they're putting such an emphasis on the 10-year Treasury yield. I know this is incredibly boring. I know no one wants to talk about fixed income. I know no one even really wants to talk about monetary policy, but this is a big deal. I cannot stress that enough. The former hedge fund manager also said that when it comes to the Fed, I will only talk about what they've done, not what I think they should do from now on. He said that the 10-year Treasury yields climbed after the Fed's quote unquote jumbo rate cut, referring to the 50 basis point reduction that Chair Jerome Powell and his colleagues enacted in September. So this is definitely a change of tune of what the perceived relationship between the administration and Jerome Powell and really the FOMC members would be. And if anything, this is a lot more accommodative, if you will. So as we get updates in this particular vein, I'll obviously let you know. Unfortunately, there's probably not going to be much movement on it in February because there's no scheduled FOMC meeting in February. The next one's going to be in March. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But this is another little thing. If you watch the update video from yesterday, I laid out some reasons why I thought we were going to be going to a new all-time high and why I thought the probabilities of that were increasing. This is actually another little feather in the cap of that argument. The fact that the market is probably now going to be taking off some of the, I guess, uncertainties between what this relationship will be. I think this is another tailwind for the overall market, the S&P 500, to be pushing a new all-time high. Speaking of the market, initial jobless claims came out a little bit heavy. They were expecting 214, came in at 219. I was listening to Bloomberg News when this came out, and it was hilarious. I don't know how many of you listening to this right now listen to Bloomberg News, but it was so incredibly funny. I hope that they clip it, but the person that they were, I guess, talking about, they basically said, no, it was, who was it? It was the chief economist of UBS, I want to say. What was it? UBS senior economist. They had her on, and they basically said how all these job numbers that we've been getting are absolute baloney, and they kept calling it just, it's a random number generator. You're literally just predicting noise, a signal. It doesn't matter. They lied to us about all these numbers all the time anyway. That was the senior economist from UBS on Bloomberg this morning. Absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. So wanted to throw that out there. There are some Fed speakers today, but the big show tomorrow for macroeconomic reports is 8:30 tomorrow morning, an hour before the market opens tomorrow. We're getting the unemployment report. They're expecting 4.1%. That's the line in the sand. So we're going to be streaming early to capture all this, also to enjoy Payday Friday. But moving on to individual companies, after the market closed yesterday, we got the reports from Ford, Qualcomm, ARM. This morning, Eli Lilly, Roblox, ConocoPhillips, Peloton. And then after the market closes today, the big one is right here, Amazon, obviously a titan of a company, AMZN, reporting after the market closes today. So for any of you, especially if you have short-term positions on that, you might want to be paying attention. Qualcomm tops estimates for earnings and revenue on strong smartphone demand. When I was checking it out this morning, it actually wasn't doing so hot. Currently down 5.6%. It is below this support level I had, so I'll be watching that one throughout the day. Ford beats earnings expectations but forecasts tougher year ahead. Ford also not looking so hot, currently down 5.7%, getting hit from $10 down to $9.50. So just want to show you that. Peloton posts better than expected holiday sales thanks to, in part, to Costco. So let's see how Peloton is doing now. Right now, actually up 16%. So Peloton is a stock that's gotten its teeth kicked in pretty bad, but after this earnings, a clear trend to the downside, lower highs, lower lows, but on this earnings be a nice welcomed pop. Eli Lilly posts mixed quarter even as demand for weight loss diabetes drugs soar. And then even though not in earnings, big news. MicroStrategy unveils new name, reports accelerated Bitcoin purchases in fourth quarter. So if you didn't see this, they are now just known as Strategy. That's the name. Strategy. I like when I heard this right away, the scene from The Social Network popped up where Timberlake, his character, Sean, whatever, he was there and he's like, drop the. It's not the Facebook. It's just Facebook. Like drop the. That's what they did here. I feel like he walked in and just someone's like, drop the micro. And everyone's like, fuck that. That's good. That's good right there. I feel like there was just a room of 800 different consultants and they're like, what could we do to take this company to the next level? And then some intern in the back raised his hand. He's like, why don't we just drop the micro? And I'm just picturing applause just for days. Just everyone, yeah, we're dropping micro. So that's the big news with MicroStrategy, that it is no longer MicroStrategy. It is just Strategy. If we keep going at this rate, before we know it, the company is literally just going to be the letter S. If we just add this and we just go from MicroStrategy to Strategy to Strat to Stra, and then eventually I think they're just going to be a straight up S. So interesting to see how the naming goes. We'll be finding that one out pretty soon. All right. Don't forget, newsletter, mattkohrs.locals.com, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. My mom will drop in chat. This is 100% free. I break down the previous week, let you know what to pay attention to the upcoming week, all of the earnings, the major macroeconomic reports of the day, 8:30 today, initial jobless claims. Tomorrow, we're getting the unemployment report. The most useful thing is the seasonality of each individual day. And today, from a historic standpoint, if you bought at open, sold at close on this individual day over the past 27 years on the S&P 500 futures market, this is what your account would look like. For the first 15 years, you'd be losing money. And then for the last 12 years, you'd be making money. That's why the seasonal bias of today is bullish. Not the most bullish, but it is bullish. The bulls have only won 44% of the time, but when they do win, they win in bigger fashion. And it's a nice profit factor of almost 1.6. And then to conclude the week, just so you know, the seasonality tomorrow is pretty choppy. So that doesn't mean I'm expecting the intraday action to be choppy. Obviously, it might be. It just means that I'm not taking seasonality into account with my own degenerate trades. Speaking of my own degenerate trades, Kohrs on the cob got paid yesterday. Not only was I eating as many pieces of corn I possibly could, I was also making some tendies. I'm locked in 1.4K. Piper fired off around 11:30. Bullish signal on the SPY and the Qs, a put credit spread, 4 out of 5 confidence on both. That ended up paying a nice $34 return per capital requirement of 366. Of course, you could scale this up to your heart's desire. But what I did was I played a little bit of a wider put credit spread, a 10-point wide, and I just let it decay from 95 to 25. It was much more of an active trade. I was in it for about 70 minutes. So to get paid 1.4K for 70 minutes worth of work, I'm happily going to take it. If you agreed with that trade, that alone would have paid for you to be in the Discord for just over 2 years. That one trade, which you could have gotten for free, because remember, anyone joining the Goonie Trading Discord, if you use that code Goonie, your first month is free. So you can get access to literally anything, anything and everything that Kohrs on the cob is doing. You can get full access to it with that code Goonie. So that's the setup from yesterday. Now let's get everyone a little bit better prepped up for today. So here's the situation. We recently have had lower highs and lower lows, a fake out breakdown of this major 50 EMA. Since then, we've had 3 days in a row of higher highs and higher lows, and it appears that we are gapping up today. So the first thing you have to pay attention to with a gap up, the market is currently, if we were to open right now, it'd be 606.09. The high from yesterday is 604.37. That means there is a downside gap fill opportunity. The downside gap fill opportunity would be down to yesterday's high of 604.37. These are high odds plays. When there's a high odds play, that is by no means a guarantee, but they are high odds. I don't know what else to tell you. In fact, it's actually very good odds. So I wouldn't necessarily be taking that trade out of the gate. Personally, I'd be interested in taking it if we see some profit taking. Basically, if we see the delta dropping throughout the opening session, if we see the S&P 500 complex getting hit, if we see the NASDAQ complex getting hit, if we see the Mag 7 getting hit, yeah, okay, then I might be a little bit more interested in seeing if I could play this $2 gap fill. So that's the first thing I'm noticing out of the gate is the SPY does have an upside gap fill, or a downside gap fill, because we are gapping up. So once again, it would be down to 604.37. And same thing with the Qs. The Qs are a lot smaller, but their downside gap fill would be about 20 cents, currently trading at 527.27. The downside gap fill, same situation to yesterday's high of 527.01. Folks, I get this question a lot of like, what is a gap fill? What does it mean? It is not rocket surgery. It is not rocket surgery whatsoever. In fact, it's very, very easy. The high from yesterday was 604.37. We are currently scheduled to open around 606.16. That means there's a literal gap in the chart, a giant gap. That's why it's called a gap fill, because you're opening above the high. Same thing can happen if you open below the low. You're creating a literal gap on the chart. And for whatever reason, the market likes to fill those untested areas of supply and demand. So that's what a gap is. It is not rocket surgery. There's not some big brain analysis you have to do to it. It's, can you see giant gaps in the chart? That's all it is. So we do have a decent one on the SPY today. We have a smaller one on the Qs. The Russell even has one. So all three indices, the SPY, the Q, and the Russell, are gapping up. So there is a downside gap fill opportunity. I'm not always, I don't have a strategy where I take that all the time. There are other things I like to pay attention to see if I want to play that on a daily basis. And one of the major things, but not the end all be all, is the options flow. I absolutely hate trading against the options flow. So I'm not randomly going to go short for the gap fill and trying to make money off of it if the options movement is telling me that's like the dumbest thing to do. So I just want to be clear of what the gap fill is. And yes, it has absurdly high odds. We kind of covered some of them on what was it, Edgeful yesterday. Actually, we were talking about it. So you could check out the odds there, the stats, facts, and figures, but good play, but it's not something that I'm going to take every single time, especially if it's news driven. So for example, tomorrow with the unemployment report, if we gap up because of that, I'm not going to be shorting it if we're gapping up because of real legitimate news. So that's just another example of times that I'm not necessarily going to play the gap fill. So just wanted to show you that. I also want to show you SPX. I want to give you these key levels. I've been getting some good responses from you guys saying, yes, we really like you calling out all the levels before the market opens. So yesterday, the SPX, the actual S&P 500, closed at 6,061. That's where we closed out yesterday. The levels of the day today. Actually, where are we currently scheduled to open? Let me see where we are. I need to log. No, is it going to make me log back in on all of these? Do I need to? No, my cookies. Someone stole my cookies. Please don't look at my password, folks. Please. Inverse condor is here, and this guy is actually already being tested. So the big levels of the day are 6035. This is the downside put debit spread. This is why it's inverse condor. And then to the upside, this is not a call credit spread as it normally was, a normal iron condor. No. This is a call debit spread. This player is betting on either a push above or a push below. It's the inverse. Generally, when we're talking about credit spreads, we are in condors, we're saying, hey, they want it to be within this zone. This player doesn't. This player says, I either want it to rip up or I want it to really drop down. They specifically don't want it in this zone. That's where they get paid. And already this morning, it's looking pretty good. This person is basically saying, hey, I would love it to get above 6085. And if we were to open at this second, we'd be at 6081. So we are already opening up at my first level target. Now, if we can hold this level, my next target would be 6,100, key technical level, key psychological level, and it's also the largest open interest level for today's expiration and tomorrow's expiration combined. This is a very important options level. And then my reach target on the day is 6,120. That is a key level, not necessarily for tomorrow, but it is a key level from today. We do see some people saying, hey, I want to run it all the way up there. So that's how I got all my upside targets. We're going to open up here and then that was profit target 1, profit target 2, profit target 3. So feel free to screenshot that. Feel free to write it down. Obviously, we have the downside gap fill, which was basically to this close value. We know the odds for that are pretty high, but I wouldn't be playing it unless the options flow really drops. If that does not hold, 6,035, which as you might have guessed it, is this put debit spread all the way down here. That's going to be an important level that the market makers are going to have to react to. And if that breaks, does not hold, then we're talking about 6,000 flat. So these are my bull case scenarios. These are my bear case scenarios. I cannot stress this enough. If you are a day trader, if you are a scalp trader, if you are a swing trader, trader, you should not be married to the bullish or the bearish circumstance or bias. Yeah, you might have your own developed bias, but you should have a case that you can react to either at any given moment, especially when we're in an environment that news could be popping off at any time. I cannot stress this enough. It is incredibly important for you to have a bull case and a bear case for any short-term trading. So even though my bias right now is bullish, and it's bullish because, well, we are gapping up. I'm looking at the price action, the 5, the 10, the 30, the 4 hours bullish, the 5, the 10, the 30, the 4 hours bullish. So like I do lean to the bullish side, but right now in this environment, but with that being said, I still have my bear case targets just in case that's what we're getting out of the gate. So I wanted to be very, very, very clear on that. And let me get this set up. I know the market is about to get going. Hang on. I got to go faster. Come on. Come on, the market already open. I'm slow. I'm behind schedule. All right, I got all these. We're going to just let a little bit of time pass so we can see how things are developing out of the gate. And it looks like right away we were dropping. Dingity, ding, ding, ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Because remember, you can't take it with you when you go anyway. Out of the gate, we already have some profit taking. The Q's already getting their downside gap fill. So as I called it out, those plays are absurdly high accuracy plays, and it didn't even take a full minute for the Nasdaq to drop all the way down to getting the downside gap fill and then also touching the closing value from yesterday. We have some profit taking on the semiconductor names out of the gate. Rumble's nicely in the green out of the gate. Here's a quick look at just the 5-second. This is for the S&P 500 complex. Clearly profit taking, now flat. For the NASDAQ, what do we have going on here? Indecisive. And then for the MAG 7, what do we have? Indecisive. So the major thing moving right out of the gate is quite a bit of profit taking, like minute one profit taking on the SPY. That's not going to freak me out at all. I'm not going to judge anything off of 1 minute's worth of movement. So just wait. Calm, cool, collected. These environments, I truly believe you do have increased accuracy, increased luck, increased odds by just taking a breather. You don't have to rush anything, folks. With these environments, there's a plentiful amount of opportunity. You don't have to just be grinding it out and taking all these trades that you know are like kind of piss poor, not quality setups to begin with. So just wait. The opportunity is going to come to you. Tesla's been getting beat up. Yesterday, Tesla and Meta had the most bearish options flow in the MAG 7. Tesla and Meta did not have good days with respect to the options market yesterday whatsoever. So I'm curious if they're going to bounce back, watching them a little bit. NVIDIA, a nice gap up this morning. I would like for this to recover. We're kind of 3 minutes in right now, and it looks like the selling is continuing. The NASDAQ complex is selling off. The S&P 500 complex is now maybe potentially picking up. It's showing a little bit of life. And then the MAG 7 right here still dipping to the downside. So checking all those out. I have found that this is also a really, really good tool for those of you who are interested. Let me zoom in here. Actually, let me reload. Same thing. I need to log back into my account. Right now, this is what is currently pinned to the top of chat. So I'm getting a lot of questions now of like, how am I calling out these levels? Like, especially this, like resistance, support. One of the easiest tools to figure this out, it's called GexBot. Like I said, you could get, I think it's a 65% off deal. It's some huge offer. But this is one of the, I guess, most visually appealing tools to check that out. So just to remind you guys, and I mean, we could even bring the GexBot team on here if you guys want to have a more full-fledged conversation. But you're looking for the market to react to the teal bars, and then you're looking for the purple bars to be a bit more passive. So if we can hold the support at 6075, that is setting up a shot to go to 6095 right now based on the 0 DTE movement. So this is potential support. We're looking to hold this. If we do hold this support here, you're looking for a quick pop up to this next level. So this is honestly an excellent tool for day traders, for scalp traders. But the one thing I want to call out is, even though I'm saying that purple is passive and you're looking for price to kind of just like slowly grind through it, if it's a very, very big one, for example, 6,115, you would then expect a reaction there. So you're looking for any reaction at the teal bars. You're looking for no reactions on the purple unless it's large. So that's the very quick TLDR there. But even this, look at where we're finding support. We're finding support exactly where GexBot is doing the analysis on the opening options flow. So I hope that makes sense. And I'm hoping that this actually does hold right here. We'll check it out. We'll throw up the 1 minute. we'll throw up the old 1 minute, but just to be clear, I mean, that literally what Gexbox is saying is this is support. And if we do hold the support, then look for the pop up to 6,094. So once again, I think this is an awesome tool. They have a lot more going on. I mean, it's all like just a big options breakdown, and you could even see order flow. So for those of you who maybe like these visuals a little bit more, I recommend checking it out. Like I said, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. I'm just, after I put out that video yesterday and after like some of the fortunate call outs this week, my inbox is just flooded with like, dude, how are you getting these levels? How are you getting these levels? So that's why I had a little bit more of an educational video posted last night. So for those of you who watched it, I appreciate that. Always looking for some feedback on if you guys want more of those, if you want less of those. But just because that seems to be the general tone that I'm getting from everyone, I guess I just wanted to share all the tools I'm using and some of the reasoning and I guess almost like the deductions that we're taking from the options market to be able to apply it to these levels. So trade XRP, I'm good. I do think it is a good trade for sure because it has good range and has good volatility. But the issue is I think you could trade it as a bull or a bear. And when you say that to the Ripple community, dude, they lose their mind. They overreact in such a way that like they think you're gonna like kill their family. XRP is. Can you stop spamming? I mean, now it's just a little rude. Yeah, all right, that was stupid of you, Drew. Are you dumb? Like, why do people ever think that spamming is a good idea? Seriously, like, why are they just sitting there like, I'm going to spam and I think they should respond to me for that? Like, I just don't, like, what are they, a toddler? What are they, a freaking toddler? All right, SPY drop minute one, try to pop. We are at that key support level. Right here. If this does not hold, I'm looking for the downside gap fill, which is also pretty much the closing value from yesterday. I would much prefer that that doesn't happen. If I could wave a magic wand and make something specifically happen, I would much prefer that we just base right here and pop up to 680, take that out, and then run to the next resistance all the way up to this 95, 6,100 area. This is that 5-point zone that I'm looking for, but I just need this base to be made. The NASDAQ is trying to pop. Thus far, the S&P 500 options flow is not good. The NASDAQ options flow is not good. And really, the Mag 7 is not good. I mean, it tried to get going. I'm surprised the Qs even had this much of life in them to go from 26 up to 27 because the options flow does not agree with that at all. We're seeing a little bit of life right here in the NASDAQ, but the S&P 500 just smashed again, and the Mag 7 is getting smashed. So where is this setting up? A fail at VWAP is what just happened. Yeah, they ran it right up to the volume-weighted average price, and now it's just getting a little bit schmacked, which that is a legitimate short trade opportunity. Like, I would not be berating anyone for taking this little breakdown here just because it is in line with this. I'm personally not taking it just because the moving averages are still too strong. I'd rather be bullish today. The 10-minute is bullish. The 30-minute is bullish. The 10-minute was trying to go bullish, I guess, getting hit, but it's mixed match now. It's miss and match. It's mismatch, mixed and matched. The 10-minute's bearish. 10-minute and maybe 5-minute is breaking bearish, but the 30-minute's still bullish. So like for me, those days where people are like, dude, you just got so lucky. Well, I find that I get a lot more lucky when I'm just trading with multiple things in agreement. So even though I do agree this options flow is to the downside, and that's why I'm saying I would not really be berating anyone for going short because I think the odds are somewhat decent. I just prefer to wait for more things to align. So right now I see the options flow is getting hit. I understand that there's the downside gap fill, which we're not that far away from. We're at 605.22. It is down to 604. Could hit, but I would rather just, because this is bullish, this is bullish, this is bullish, this is bullish, I'd rather just more things align. Also coming back to what we have here on GexBot. All right, where do we have this now? Looks like support dropped to 6070. So maybe we find support there and then pop right back up to 6090, 6095. So this is definitely going to be a key level. You can see the S&P 500. This is the actual price movement over here on the left, but just looking to see where support is, which is kind of actually the level we're literally at right now. So maybe if we see some options flow come in, it's going to be a time to go long. But as of right now, the trend's to the downside. Not only are you seeing the 1 minute price, lower highs and lower lows. Yes, I know we have a choppy NASDAQ, obviously, but I just look at the options flow. So I am bullishly biased. And when I'm bullish biased and I see the options puking, it means don't do anything. It means just chill. I don't need to force a trade. If you're a little bit more DEGEN, yeah, that's what the third rejection at VWAP. Rejected. So maybe if it recaptures it and holds it above it, maybe that's what I'll be looking for. I would prefer that it does get above it. I would also prefer that the options flow doesn't look like the dog shit it's been looking like at the moment. I mean, we're literally at the intraday low on this delta reading. So the SPY's getting hit, the NASDAQ's getting hit, the Mag 7 showing a little bit of life right now. So this is all a very roundabout way of me just saying chill. We got to wait to see if this support right here is held. If it is held, look for the reversion all the way back up to 6090. What do we have? What other cool things can we do on this? What other cool things? Net gex. Well, that was, I think, a data issue, but that just popped. Where was this? Major call gamma. So this is saying that SPX GEX is actually picking up right now for today's expiration. Net convexity, DEX order flow, GEX order flow. I mean, there's just so much going on here. It's a really cool tool. Really cool tool. All right, giving that a quick reload. We might be showing a little bit of life right now. I'm seeing a bit of a pop here. Oh, brother. A little bit. I want to be clear. It's not like it's actually ripping. The NASDAQ tried to get going, getting smacked right away. The Mag 7 trying to get going and getting smacked. So they tried to pop it, and then the market said no. They said nah. So I'm still hopeful. That we can turn this ship around and test this breakout level and then have another 15 to 20 point rip all the way up here. But we just got to wait. I am not going to be throwing on intraday bullish trade unless I really see what I want. I see Tesla's getting it. Tesla's been getting messed up lately. Tesla's really getting messed up. Someone said Tesla outlook for what time frame? Intraday, it looks like shit. I don't know if you're a day trader. I mean, time frame is as important as anything else, but Tesla's individual flow looks atrocious, as it did yesterday. Was good, and now that's getting hit. Microsoft's looking good, actually. Microsoft is showing some real strength right now. What about Apple? Apple's also showing some strength. What about NVIDIA? NVIDIA, it was good, then it was bad, then it was fine. Now it's tilting back into the bad territory. What about Amazon? Remember, Amazon reports after the market closes today. Not really much going on with Amazon. I'm surprised. Microsoft, this is some clear bullish strength right here. How's the chart look on an old MSFT? Wow. Okay. No, that explains it for sure. Yeah, we might have a little bit of a recovery going on here. There is an upside gap fill on Microsoft all the way to 440.41. Not a bad risk reward trade in reality. I mean, look, if you took this trade, what is this? What is this risk reward? You have risk at this recent low. What is this? Stop 831. What is the risk reward? Yeah, a ratio of 2.75. That's not a bad setup. Minimal risk, you're catching it, maybe worthwhile to pay attention to. I would look to see if there's another burst of options flow on this one. So check that out. Someone's asking for the flow on Pinterest. It's really kind of non-existent. It just popped. Like there was some longer duration bullishness, but not much flow to really talk about. But Microsoft is the one that I guess like the surprise quality candidate of the day. Tesla's getting its absolute teeth kicked in. Where is MSFT? Look at that. Apple's looking good too. Both of these have very strong options flow. So unfortunately, the third biggest stock, Nvidia, right now is also getting beat up. But if you have Apple, Microsoft, and Nvidia all trending nicely to the upside, that's an opportunity. This is why the SPY is looking a little bit worse and the Qs are trying to hold, because Apple and Microsoft are doing so well right now. They're keeping things elevated, but they're keeping the NASDAQ uniquely elevated. We have an interesting situation setting up right here. We have an interesting situation setting up. A little bull flag breakout potential here on the, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th test of VWAP. The 6th test. Will the 6th test hold or will it fold? Looks like we're popping. Okay, I'm seeing the Mag 7 pick up. I'm seeing the NASDAQ pick up. I'm seeing the SPY pick up. That's what I need to fire. And we are... Am I in and everything? Okay, I am in. We're rocking now. We're rocking now. All right. I told you folks, I got to be patient. I got to be ready. I know exactly what I'm looking for. As soon as I saw what I was looking for, it was time for me to attack. And now I'm moving my stop up to where my stop needs to be. I need to be very aggressive with these stops. So I'm in at 86 and my stop was initially 100 points lower and now it's only 40 points lower. And I'm just going to keep trailing this up behind. My max profit on the day, just because of the consistency rules from these sim-to-funded platforms, I believe is 1,500. I could do some quick math on it, but let me just make sure. Let me make sure. Yes, it is. All right. So this is my max target, 61. 61. Okay, I cannot go above that. So I'm not saying I'm going for that level. If it hits, obviously I'd be stoked, but that's just the max. So my goal here is to not touch that. If it does get hit, cool, that's awesome. I'm not going to complain, but I'm going to just keep moving up this stop loss. And ideally, I just will aggressively get it to be break even, which maybe I should just do that now, you know? Like, why take on any risk? I could just have the easiest Thursday trading day ever. If it hits me, it hits me, you know? If it hits me, it hits me. Oh, do I want to give it a little bit of time? You know, let's take more while I'm, I guess, pontificating upon this. I'm going to move my stop up even more. Just my goal here to keep these accounts growing and growing and growing. I have found that I am my most disciplined when I can just keep aggressively moving my stop up. And the overall goal with this particular trading strategy methodology is to aggressively get your stop to at break even, because once you're at break even, then you have a lottery ticket. You don't care at that point. Worst case scenario is your break even. And with futures trading, who cares? Because there's no pattern day trading anyway. You could trade as much as you want. And then every so often, if you catch that big runner, great, that's where you're going to get paid. So with this strategy, when I'm trading at my most disciplined, there's a couple things that I need to check off. And just, I guess, while we're waiting for this trade to play out, what I look for first is a sanity check of the price action. 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 4 hours bullish. Great. That's my first sanity check. Second sanity check, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 4 hours. So the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, that's my sanity check. Am I on the right side of price action? Okay, cool. The second thing that I'm going to check is the actual options flow. So even though we were bullish today, I was pointing out how the options flow was dog shit. And then I saw it picking up. So all of a sudden, price was bullish. I was biased to the bullish side anyway, but I wanted to wait for the options flow to agree with me. And that's exactly what I did. See how the NASDAQ started picking up? It was selling, selling, selling. I was waiting. I was as patient as could be and waited for it to show life. Now, granted, since then it's getting hit a little bit, but the Mag 7, it's actually turning. But my point is I didn't arbitrarily go long when it was just like getting absolutely smashed. I waited for some things to set up. And actually right now, I'm not liking this drop necessarily, which is, I'm actually considering maybe just moving my stop here, because if it comes all the way back down to VWAP, I might be able to get a better entry anyway. So do I just want to be super aggressive and take all my risk off the table just in case there's a little puke here? I'm going to give it, what time is it? It's 9:48. 9:48. Okay, I like the options flow when I got into it, but it did quickly turn on me. Okay, so the SPY is now flat. The NASDAQ did sell, but it's potentially flattening out. But see how the Mag 7 is dipping right here? So I'm watching that. Where's my GEX spot? Let me go over here. What key levels are we at? We might be running into a bit of an issue here at 80, but then if we do break 80, I think there's another easy 15-point push to the upside. Let's go to the 3-minute. Yeah, so this is exactly why I lay out these levels for you guys in the morning. Is anyone surprised that we ran right up to the key options level and now we're struggling? This is why you gotta learn how to read options. I called out these levels before the market opened. I gave you the breakdown of how I got to these levels. This is not rocket surgery, folks. It's relatively basic if you just put in a bit of effort. No one should be surprised that we are getting hit there on this first attempt. Now, if the first attempt's hit, that doesn't mean you can't be successful on the second or the third and get some follow through. But right now, pairing that up, we have some profit taking right there. We maybe have a bit of bottoming. I'm back to break even, a little bit under break even. I know here's VWAP. Here's VWAP. I'm going to pray that we get saved here, but if it goes a little bit below, I'm going to cut just because even with those things aligning, the issue here is I didn't realize honestly how close we were to this 60-80 level. I should have been a little bit more reactive to that. And by reactive, I don't mean not taking the trade. I mean, I probably should have just put that stop in on break even. But what I'm looking for here is we have a higher high. I'm hoping we put in a higher low and just turn right off of this. So time will tell. This is all going to be based on future trades and people deciding what they want to do here. But we had a nice follow through, and then all of a sudden we saw a nice pop, and then the options flow just got hit. More specifically, these call buyers started to lock in profits, and people kept buying puts. They kept buying tech puts for the longer duration, actually. So hopefully those put buyers, at least for me, get blown out of the water. Mag 7 dip, but now we're seeing a big pop back as well. What is this specifically? People were buying puts and selling their calls, and now they're starting to buy some calls again. And then if we look at the S&P 500, just to know the difference between calls and puts, puts were purchased all morning, really purchased, a little bit monetized, and then they did a bit more purchasing. And then all of a sudden at 9:44, people did start to buy 0 DTE calls, and they're pretty stable right now. So what I'm going to do is we have this dip. I'm going to move my stop up even more. Like I said, my goal here, the profits will take care of themselves. The longer you trade, you're going to realize your job as a trader is not to be a trader. Your job is not to just swing for the fences. Of course, it feels good and you feel awesome when it hits, but really to survive in this game, to not be just another horrible retail trading statistic where they're like 95% of people don't make money. The reason that happens is because you are not crazy focused on the downside risk. If you really redo your mental framework as a trader and just say, hey, what is my risk? What is my risk? How do I lessen my risk? That should be your question all the time. Just how do I drop my risk? How do I drop my risk? How do I drop my risk? You want that number to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And even if you're so aggressive with it that you get stopped out of a lot of your trades for break even, you didn't make money, you didn't lose money, that's fine, because every so often you catch that one big runner that pays for everything. That's what you got to do. Your focus shouldn't be to make money every trade. Your focus shouldn't be like every trade needs to work for you. Your focus on every single trade is how do I take my risk off the table and as aggressively as you can. And I'm actually going to lower mine even more right now, talking about it, just as it keeps going up. My goal is how many points am I up? If this pushes 25, I'm just going to move it to break even. So as soon as we push 25, because I'm looking at this little trend line breakout right here, as soon as we push that, I'm moving my stop up to break even, and that's my favorite play. What you are witnessing ideally is my favorite setup. My absolute favorite setup is we get a nice push, and then I take all of my risk off the table by just moving my stop to break even, and then from there, it's literally just the die are in the air, and the worst case circumstance for me is nothing. It's nada, it's zilch, it's goose egg. That's it. And some people don't really necessarily like being in the circumstance of like, well, I was up money, I'm not comfortable with it going to zero. Okay, I mean, this is how I trade. I'm not saying that it's the best for everyone. I'm just literally letting you guys know how I'm up. What is this right now? 42. What is 42 times 20? 840,000. It's how I'm up $840,000 in the last 2 months and some change, in the last 9 trading weeks. That's how. I'm literally revealing the mindset and the mental framework for you for the last 9 months to be up just over $750,000. That's how I did it. It's just aggressively moving my stop. I'm looking for this trend line bounce here. I should be checking this. All right, we're seeing that pop back. All right, so the SPY, we popped, we came down, we had a push up. It's a little bit indecisive right now. The NASDAQ is showing more strength, a nice pop from this delta low from 950 upward. Let's see if it can hold. And the MAG 7 is actually showing the most strength right now. We have this nice higher low, a pop up. Yeah, it's giving a bit back. What it's giving back right here is a push to this, which makes me kind of not want to take on any. I'm going to do it. All right. You know, it's one thing to talk the talk. It's another thing to walk the walk. My stop's in. If it comes and hunts me out, that's going to be a bummer. It's going to be a huge bummer. That sucks. I don't know what to tell you. It looks like it actually is coming for me. But the point is I protected myself. The point is I'm not going to lose anything. Yeah, it's coming for me right now. So I have a break-even trade. That's life, dude. That's life. This is what good trading is. Truly, it is you being so obsessed with your downside risk. Go if it hits me, and it actually just came absurdly close, came real close. Dude, I'd be so stoked if this just bounces right here. Come on, get away from me. Get away, bounce, bounce. You shall not pass. You shall not pass. Dude, am I gonna get this lucky that it came within a point of me and bounced? Bounce. But the point is like, as much as I'm going to be rooting this, obviously I want it to bounce. The point is that the worst case scenario, I have a stop, dude. It's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt me. Dude, this might be crazy here. All right. I obviously don't need this anymore. Am I really going to get this lucky? That it comes within a point? It's like, nah. All right, where are we at? The SPY having an issue at that 80 that, once again, I called out to you. How did I call it out to you? It was because of reading options flow and using tools such as GexBot, where I could just see what in the world is actually going on. We have quite a fight right here. There is support at 70. There's resistance at 80. So this is going to be probably a pretty choppy zone. Here's the look at the flow. The NASDAQ took a hit. We're now going flat. The MAG 7 is actually holding. The MAG 7 is, oh, look at that. The NASDAQ is now starting to pop. But the SPY is not showing anything too interesting right here. It seems as if the NASDAQ, the tech sector wants to go, but there's some lack of enthusiasm right now in the SPY. So tech wants to go. But just in case the SPY wins out, that's why I have my stop at break even. And it hasn't hit yet. It feels like it could hit at any second. I'm actually kind of nervous about it. But it is what it is. This is why I have my orders up. I'm trying to not be like last week. Oh, I should clarify. Quick moment of clarification. What I'm talking about, like this mindset stuff, I am not some monk-like disciplined trader who executes this every day. In fact, a lot of the times when I'm saying it to all of you guys, it's a reminder for myself. You don't even have to go that back far in history. Like you could go back to last week and I was on one of the worst tilts of my career. So when I'm saying this to you, this is not me saying it from a position of like, nope, I crush it all the time, blah, blah, blah. This is like almost like what I have to repeat to myself to not go on tilt, to not get utterly destroyed. So I am by no means saying this as a person who I've been trading like this for years and years and years, and I don't make missteps. Literally last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, were all horrible trading days. Absolutely horrible trading days. So I want to be very clear, especially if like you happen to be a new viewer of like, oh, this guy, like he's saying it makes sense. This is like how he's always trading. No. If anything, I'm trying to do a little bit of self-talk to remind myself what the right thing is. Like it's just in the right here, I'm about to get hit. Is it going to hit? What are we doing, dude? You coming for me or are you not coming for me? But no, there we go. All right, it ended up at break even. Apparently I made $10 on take profit. Some lost 5, some made 5. So that's the break even trade, and that's okay. It happens. You very much have to get used to that. That's just what trading is, dude. And this is why I put in those break evens, because of situations like this where you don't know how deep it's going to go. There's a good chance we bounce right off of VWAP and it's going to come back up. And then unfortunately, I might get into the situation where I get a worse fill. I end up going long at a higher value. That happens. That's life. But on the off chance that this just keeps puking, well, then I'm not riding it to the downside. Like that's the entire mindset. The entire mindset is, okay, I'm going to protect it. And yeah, it went a little bit in my favor, ended up not playing out the way I wanted it to. And now we're just going to see if it holds or not. We might bounce off of VWAP. We might not. It's common that we bounce off of VWAP. I really don't mind getting out, especially when I saw this happening. The S&P 500 just had a puke all the way till this, but this might be now the classic 10 a.m. reversal, and we might bounce right off of, we're at 9:59 now. We're almost going to be turning the new hour. That might be it. Totally. Or it might be a massive vomit. All I know is I'm much more focused on that latter case, the particular negative. So I'm going to protect myself from that. And if everything aligns again, guess what? I could always trade again. I could always easy peasy lemon squeezies trade again. All right, we'll set up that trend line. There's not really the best trend line in the Qs here. I guess it's kind of something like that. So I'll be watching for this to see if we get a little bit of a reversal, but it does really come down to what I'm seeing in options. And thus far, we are kind of trading. The Nasdaq's been trying to pick up this entire time. It really, really has. It's the S&P 500 that's keeping it down. So the 5-minute is bearish. Even the 10-minute is almost bearish here on the SPY. The 30-minute's bullish. For the Nasdaq, the 5, the 10, the 30, and the 4. Everything's pretty much bullish over here. And even the options flow is stronger. Look at the Mag 7. Look at the Nasdaq. It is looking good. It's just this right here. What do we actually have? They started selling calls. They also started buying puts. I guess it's the old twofer. The old twofer. Yeah, it's just the S&P 500 is just kind of getting hit. And the Nasdaq seems as if it wants to go, but it's just having a tough time. It's clearly there has to be a subsector that's really getting hit. Well, NVIDIA is getting hit. I guess I should call that out. XLE, energy is getting hit. Financials were getting hit, trying to recover. Utilities are getting pretty beat up. Industrials are bouncing back. Healthcare is not looking so good. Real estate, consumer discretionary is puking, and consumer staples are puking. So pretty much every sector is getting hit except for tech, and now tech is actually getting hit. So it wasn't one real sector. There were some sectors that looked better than others, but tech was the one trying to keep the SPY alive, while a lot of these other ones were just getting hit. So right now, it's a little bit choppy. It's a little bit messy. This is exactly how yesterday was. And if there was one good lesson that we should have all taken from yesterday, it was the fact that if you were patient, there was a ton of opportunity. So if I quickly remind everyone about how yesterday went, here's the 3-minute chart for yesterday. The whole starting session was crap. It didn't actually even get really good until about 11:30, maybe about 11. Like, it was a fake out to the upside, a puke, a bounce, a puke, a bounce, a puke, a bounce. And then finally we saw, okay, maybe it's breaking out. And then even this was a tough one, but then it did gather itself. Like yesterday, even though if you look at like a larger time frame chart, like say something like the 10-minute, yesterday seemed easy. It really does on the 10-minute. Right here, because you're like, oh yeah, from about this like choppiness to later on, it just kind of generically went up. But if you were actually trading it, there was a lot of whip in that first hour. So that totally could be happening. It 100% could be happening. You don't have to be rushing it. Yesterday is a prime example of how there was a great opportunity to ride a very nice trend, but it didn't really even come around until about 11 a.m. So it's not like you have to be getting these trades in so early. I took a shot at it because you don't know when trends are going to start. It's like fishing. You gotta throw the lure in to maybe catch something. And it just so happened that wasn't it. And guess what? I cut bait right at break even. Nothing. It didn't cost me a penny to attempt to do that trade. So now we're just waiting. But Apple had nice flow. Microsoft had nice flow. Netflix, I believe, hit a new all-time high. Palantir's looking really good. This is actually the biggest gainer. It's up 3.95%. That's looking really strong. Tesla is getting its teeth kicked in. Meta's having a nice recovery as well. Rum was looking good and then got hit, now recovering. Broadcom, not looking so good. Meta, nice pop, holding. NVIDIA, I wish it looked better. Palantir is looking good. So this is a very mixed bag situation. We have some things that look good. We have some things that look bad. Qualcomm is down pretty hard ever since its earnings. Google's in the red. Surprise, surprise, Ripple's in the red. Bonds are up right now. TLT grinding to the upside. Yields still in that positive territory. Palantir is looking good, actually. So is Meta's having a nice recovery as well. So these are two strong looking ones. Everything we're seeing in the underlying data set does suggest that tech wants to get going, but it's the other sectors of the S&P 500 keeping the S&P 500 down, which is kind of taking the wind out of the sails of the actual S&P itself and thus the NASDAQ. So I do want to remind you why we're here. The S&P 500, whether you're trading SPX, ES, or SPY, there is that downside gap fill to 6061. We're now at 6070, so it might be a quick puke. We know these are high odds plays, and remember, the options flow is now suggesting, hey, maybe we are looking for this downside gap fill. Right now, the NASDAQ is at VWAP. It's just that battle. Like, we popped off of it. We kind of broke below it. We popped again. It's just messy. So we're not really getting much agreement, if you will, at the moment between what the hell is going on. The Mag 7 looked good. The NASDAQ was looking good until that one got hit. The S&P 500 is just being walked down. We had this nice, beautiful pop, couldn't hold. And more specifically, it is call selling and put buying. The delta is really dropping from both. It's a two-sided thing. Meta's picking up, Palantir. So these are the exciting ones as of now. I would love for NVIDIA to get going. I would also love, you know what? I'll set up this alert for an NVIDIA breakout. Nope. I saw this trend line break. Hang on, let me check. Should I be going long right now? It is picking up. A little VWAP test. I could go long at 90. Risk 64. Oh, that's 25 points. Do I want to risk 25 points? Do I want to go long before this trend line? Right now, my one algo is saying to go long at 800, which is just above this breakout. I don't know if I could bring myself to do it quite yet, just because, dude, I don't know. That's popping now. Even that's... All right, I'm going to give this a second just to see. I don't need to be rushing into any... Oh, look at that. The NASDAQ just already got hit. We're going to zoom in and really... We're going to see which way we're really going. The NASDAQ... We are at the support of 6070. That's literally exactly where we're at. But that's a lot of lower highs and lower lows. I'd feel a bit more comfortable if it could take out 75. I mean, ever since this rejection at 6080, lower highs, lower lows. And this is clearly support. So I guess if I go along right here, it is minimal risk. But I don't know what is going on. I guess I just need to see more strength in the options. It's just things have been getting so beat up, but it is trying to get a trend line breakout. This might be an opportunity. Just wait. Something's percolating here. It's attempting to do something. Attempting. Now, will it pull it off? That's going to be up to the options traders, but I see the Mag 7 attempting to pick up. Oh, just got a pop there. We are seeing a bit of a pop. I'll take a stab at it. I'll take a stab at it. Oh, now I have to redo the math like some dum-dum. All right. So that's the max I could go for. Obviously, I already moved my risk up quite a bit. But patience, maybe patience will pay this time. Patience last time, it didn't pay, but it also stopped me from not doing something stupid. And honestly, what fill did I get? I got not even that different of a fill. Last time I got in right here at 86. This time I got in at 93. So it didn't even cost me that much really to protect myself, but I would have been sweating it in here like, oh, is it breaking down? Is it not breaking down? So more than happy with how that played out. More than happy with how that played out. What is this low? 60. All right. I'm moving my stop up. I'm just like same as before. I'm running back the same playbook. I'm simply aggressively moving my stop up and up and up. And as this ideally keeps, if I'm fortunate for it to keep continuing in my favor, that's what I'm going to do. I would love for the stop to get right at, I guess I'm in at 93 as shown on the screen. I would love for this to happen at 94. As soon as, let's just hit 30. As soon as we hit 30, that's good enough for me. Well, I say that, but first I should actually, yeah, look at that. The SPY is now finally showing some strength. Now, like before, it can turn on a dime, so I got to be careful about that, but at least I'm now riding it. The NASDAQ also popping, the Mag 7 also popping. So we're getting that trend line breakout that is not only in agreement, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute green, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute green, but also it's now the options flow is up. So price is up, trend line breakout, and the options flow is up. So that's what I'm looking for. Like I said, it can turn at any moment. That's what we saw. We saw these fake outs before. So I'm hoping that it doesn't, but this is what the game of fishing is. When you're fishing, maybe you catch the big marlin, maybe you don't. I don't know. I don't know enough about fishing slang to make the metaphor more useful. All I know is that if you aggressively move your stop to break even, there's not much that's going to really negatively be happening to you, which, you know what? Am I being overly cautious? Like I was literally about to do this. How many? It went up. Did it go up enough? You can tell that I'm thinking, do I just want to move it all the way up already? Like there is part of me that literally just, no, once again, just take a free trade. Do I want to do it? Do I want a free lottery ticket trade? I would feel so much more comfortable if it just hit 30. I really would. You know what? All this talk, I'm just going to do it. Lottery ticket trade. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. All I know is it costs me nothing. Right now, worst case scenario is I'm break even. You know? I feel like I need to train my own mind that if I'm ever questioning if I should be more aggressive with my risk management, just do it. Just go be more aggressive with it. I feel like that's a good mindset, is if you're ever questioning if you should take more risk off the table, if you're at the point of questioning it, just do it. Just freaking do it. You don't have to paddle PDT. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about futures, is you do not have to battle it whatsoever. That's one huge advantage of trading futures. And actually there's other advantages, but I believe in the US, it's also taxed more favorably. So here we are, team. Here we are. My worst case scenario is break even. Best case scenario is making 1.5 thousand on 25 different accounts, which is, I don't know, you'll have to do the math. What, 37.5K return? So I either make no money or I make 37 grand. So the way, think about it this way. If 9 times out of 10, you get stopped out at break even, okay, because it's that 10th time that you're going for the 37K. So that's the logic behind it. That's the math behind it of like, okay, you have to be willing to be like, yeah, I might get stopped out. I might not. The point is it didn't cost you anything. And every so often you get the big banger. You get that big fish. That's the point of it. I hope I did that math right. Whatever. SPY flow now looking good. NASDAQ flow, you know what? We're enough into the day. Let me go to the 30-minute. Let's drop that. Let's drop that. Let's drop this, and then let's check this out. Okay, so if we can, once again, it's coming back to this fight at 80. This level I laid out for you, this was profit target 1. You could easily use that according to GexBot. That is still resistance, but if we break and get above that, we are then talking about 6095, 6095 would be the next level. Right now, GexBot is offering you 65% off. If you want to use these tools, and there's a lot going on here, this is my favorite pane. I come to state, I go to latest, I click on gamma, but you could do, I mean, I'm just looking at 0DT stuff. You could look at the aggregate. You could look at these key levels. 6,110 is important. You could look at the stuff for tomorrow if you're a swing trader. You could look at just the call and the put distribution anyway. You could look at the order flow. It's a great tool. It's kind of a more affordable alternative to spot gamma. So if you're more specifically just saying, hey, I just want the S&P 500, I just want the NASDAQ, and you don't need like the nitty gritty of all the other stuff, both are great tools. They offer you slightly different insights, but I just wanted to call out, shout out to GexBot, 65% off, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And let me go back to where I was to watch what I need to watch. Are we going to get this breakout? This is the level, profit target 1. Meta is still going. Nvidia, my alert, I like this higher low. Is it a cup and a handle? Would like to see that. Palantir also having a phenomenal day, up another 4.9%. Even Broadcom is somehow going green. Man, I would be just the happiest guy if Broadcom could take out 234.80. I would just be so ecstatic. Because I'm swinging a lot of semiconductor positions. How are we looking on the daily chart with Broadcom? So Broadcom thus far having an inside day. It's within the high and the low of yesterday, so it's a non-trend day. Meta is about to hit a new all-time high. Nvidia, it's having an outside day, but I'm trying to get this break of 127.85, which is the high from the last day of January. Palantir almost going for a new all-time high. It's within spitting distance, 40 cents away, 50 cents away. RUM is looking good, holding that trend line. Tesla's looking like shit, a legitimate breakdown. Netflix, new all-time high. Microsoft trying to get this bounce at support of 410-ish. Would love for this to push 420. Apple also trying to recover, same as Microsoft. Coin literally doing nothing. Strategy looking a little bit weak. DJT trying to base and pop. ASML doing nothing. Qualcomm trying to recover ever since it's like not so good earnings. Amazon reporting after the market closes today, looking for that breakout to new all-time high. Google still pretty slaughtered ever since the earnings and the whole China thing. So back to the market. Here's the SPY. 608 is roughly equivalent to SPX at 6,100, roughly in there. So it's all kind of coming back to this. Once again, drilling back into the 1 minute chart. Will we break above this? When you come up to key levels like this, I cannot stress this enough. As much as the gurus, talking heads on the internet and Twitter and Reddit make you believe that they have some sort of system and model that tells you if it's going to break out or not, they are so utterly full of shit. All you can possibly do is mark out the key levels. And then when you get to a key level, you fucking have to sit there and wait and pay attention. I don't give a fuck about what anyone says. And I know that there's so many people that try to get you to believe that there's some sort of way to be able to predict it. No, the data, like there has been an extensive amount of research on this. When you come to these key levels, you're flipping a coin. You have a 50-50 shot of are the buyers going to be more aggressive or are the sellers going to be more aggressive? You do not know because you cannot model what future trades are going to do. If we break out or not, that is dependent on people executing trades in the future. We don't know. So all you have to do is wait till we get there and then see how the other market participants react. You have to just sit there and be patient. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, this is just a beautiful trade. Look at this. Look at this, Tonto. Look at this, Tonto. All right. I kind of, at this point, want to get a little bit paid. So I'm going to move my stop up even more. Okay. So now the worst case scenario is 17 points, which is like maybe $350 per account. I have 25 accounts. So now I'm no longer, my worst case scenario is break even. Now my worst case scenario, what was that low? What was this? This was 10. All right. I'll just go to 10. Right about there. So if it comes for me, it comes for me. I make money regardless. It was a good day. It was a green day. I'm not going to complain. Obviously, I still want it to go all the way up. No, I got disconnected. I can't hear any of you guys. I can't hear any of you guys. Okay, now I could hear you. Currently up currently up about $25,000, almost 25, just shy of 25 because I have 25 different accounts. 5 of these are in the eval stage. 20 of these are in like the quote unquote real stage. But I'm riding the trend. I just went a little bit fishing this morning and I'm now just riding the trend. The NVIDIA seems to be following through on this cup and handle. So you might want to watch that. I guess I'll have a downside reversal alert set up. Broadcom, interesting. Palantir, I believe that's a new all-time high. Congrats to all the Palantir players. Meta's also crushing. So Meta and Palantir are having really good days. Tesla's having a really bad day. So those are the major things that jumps out to me. Microsoft and Apple did have good positive flow this morning, but someone turned that faucet off. So right now, the ones that really stand out to me are in strength are Meta and Palantir. What has opportunity is NVIDIA. And then what has bearish opportunity is Tesla. Broadcom, maybe there's something going on there. Rum's holding nicely. Netflix, Microsoft. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much the situation. Meta and Palantir are runaway trains. The potential trade setup is they're on NVIDIA and potentially they're on Broadcom. So those are the 4 individual equities where we see interesting price action and also interesting options flow. To drive this point home, here's a look at the options flow on Meta. It's just nonstop to the upside. And then here's the options flow on Palantir, nonstop to the upside. And then NVIDIA is where I think you have an interesting risk reward setup. The flow's getting better, but maybe if it keeps going, you don't have to take on that much risk. So just wanted to show you that. The Nasdaq's getting hit, which does not make me comfortable. Why is the Nasdaq getting hit this hard? Ooh, I might bail early. All right, I'm going to give this a second to see if it can find any support, but I just looked over and the options flow was not looking so good right here. Just to tell you, ooh, whoa, someone's really getting hit. What in the world is happening there? But the Mag 7's holding. The SPY is attempting to hold. Something's happening specifically in the Nasdaq. Was there an announcement? No, there wasn't an announcement. The Delta's just diving. It's getting, maybe I'll get lucky and this is just a higher low and we bounce off of it. But if I continue to see this weakness, which Jesus, I mean what were they doing? Someone just sold a bunch of calls. That was a big monetization and simultaneously they were getting puts. I'm seeing a little bit of a potential base right here. Let's see if it can swing right back around. But man, that was a lot of calls being sold. I would assume it was someone who just rode this up and was more than happy to monetize. Now even the SPY got, okay, I need this to bounce like now, but I might actually just use this low as my risk and just take my money and be done on the day. Make my life easy today. Make my life easy. What alert was that? I just got some alert. NVIDIA, interesting. Oh, NVIDIA's going the wrong way now. Maybe it is because of NVIDIA. All right. Interesting trend line to watch on the SPY is right here. I'll set an alert just in case that breaks out. The Qs are better, looking a little bit stronger. I really might just move my stop up to that level. And if it hits me, it hits me. Stops moved up. So if it reverses there and then takes me out, hell, it takes me out. But I would be up, what was that, 26 points. So I'll be up about $450 on each account. So like, as you can see, as I'm giving myself a little bit of the self-talk of what's the good decision, what's the smart trade. The smart trade is for me to protect it. So no matter what, I'm making money. Easy. Someone said Apple's dying. Well, if Apple's getting hit and NVIDIA is getting hit, that explains why there's a bit of weakness. Yeah, Apple's getting walked down. NVIDIA might actually be having a little quick reversal here, a little fake out. Watching for the SPY. What is this? Piper? Oh, I mean, interesting. Did not fire quite yet. I was kind of confused of why it didn't, but I guess, alas, it did not. Alas, it did not. Still a little bit freaked out about what is, I mean, the NASDAQ, well, and now we're turning. Is it coming for me? We went fishing today. We tried to get that white whale. The first one was completely bust, and the second one, we're catching a fish, but it is not what we set out to do. It is not at all what we set out to do. Yeah, this is coming for me. Here we go. Just got knocked. All right, I made 500 on each account. I have 25 accounts, so that's 12.5K locked in. But more importantly, I'm just happy with the quality of the decision making. I feel like I did this with very minimal risks throughout. So of course I'm happy I made $12,500. Why would you not be happy you made $12,500? My point is that I'm more happy that I did it in a very risk control manner. And guess what? I avoided this where I would have been at break even right now anyway. I would have been break even right now anyway. So yeah, maybe there's opportunity later on in the day. I have no idea, but it seems like this is a very quick flush all the way down to VWAP. But I do need to stick to my rules. And basically, if I have a scratch trade and a green trade, of course, I wish that they were better. But I find that when I overtrade, that's when things get really, really bad. So I need to keep myself accountable. And I basically, well, hang on. Let me just make sure all the positions are actually out. Okay, let me reconnect. I just want to make sure all the positions are successfully closed out. All right, so all the take profits, 500 times 5, that's 2.5K. Not a bad deal. And then is the Apex ever going to connect? I just want to make sure that I'm actually flat. Okay. Yeah, I'm flat. Positions. Okay, nothing. So like I said, I've done my 2 trades. First one was scratch. This one, I just had to protect myself. And why you protect yourself is because of exact circumstances like this, where literally after being up, however much that was up, I would now be down, or I'd be about break even. So I don't even want to entice myself to overtrade. So guess what? Shut it down. I created those rules for a reason. I backtested them for a reason. I know that they are successful. So I just don't want to, I guess, tempt myself into trying to be the hero today and do something that I know I shouldn't be doing and overtrading. So locked in my 12K, good to go. Good to go. Someone said Tesla bullish. I mean, it barely has a bounce, but it's down 2.7% on the day. It has like a slight relief bounce, not even taking out this last swing high. So I don't know if I would call that bullish. Does anybody on this chat use Apex that is not affiliated with this channel and could tell me which one of is the silliest rules that they use against you because prop firms have such a bad rap? I mean, they have rules, but that's the trade-off for trading with someone else's capital. Like, it's not really a, like, it's kind of evident. Like, of course, they're not going to, if they had what you're referring to as not silly rules, like, of course they have to have rules. If they didn't have rules, just go trade your own capital. Like, I don't know. It's not, I think you're overcomplicating it, Jay. You either trade and you accept the rules, and if you don't like the rules, you just don't trade. No one's forcing you whatsoever to use it. And I like it because I think it's a great way to minimize your risk when trading. I think it's a phenomenal way to minimize your risk when trading, but not everyone likes it. And if you don't like it, it's not for you. But I mean, all I can tell you is my own experience is it takes time to get used to the rules, and I've had to change some of my own trading methodology to abide by the rules. But as soon as you do it, if you're good at it, like, then yeah, you make money. Apex pays, that's important. They've paid me. All I could do is report on my own circumstances. And in the month of January, they paid me $120,000. For the life of these individual accounts, they paid me $160,000. So I hope that means they keep paying everyone into the future. I have no knowledge or insights to suggest that they will stop paying people. But all I could tell is as of now, They've paid me, and I have no indication that they're going to stop paying people. What happens if you blow the account and just lose their money? Well, it depends what stage you're at, because a lot of the stages people are at on Apex are actually on a SIM account. So if you blow out, you're not actually blowing out their money. You're blowing out a SIM account, fake money, paper money. What is this Piper you're referring to? Piper is the lead chief investment officer at my hedge fund here. And Piper has developed a trading strategy that is shared with the Discord for bullish and bearish signals. They're probably paying you because you have thousands of people watching you every day. No, they're paying me because I'm good at trading, because I follow the rules. There's actually no connection within the company between their payout team. Their payout team is a completely independent team from the rest of the company. And you see all of my trades. So the fact that all of my trades are streamed, you would know if I'm breaking rules or not. So like, it's not, I don't know. I think there's all that conspiratorial stuff of like, they're just paying the affiliates. How? I'm literally showing you my trades. You see my trades. You would know if I break rules and then am still getting paid. Like literally it's all streamed to you. I think the people who complain about this the most, like the way you are, Jay, are just people who are not good traders and just keep failing the test, and then they get mad about it. That's what it is. It's just poor traders complaining and like pissing and moaning about being bad at trading. And then they blame the company as if it's the company's fault that they're a bad trader. Now, I would stand in arms with you if you're like, no. I have proof that they didn't pay me out when they should have paid me out. Okay, I'll be there with you. But if it's just that you don't like the rules, well, then you just don't like the rules. That has nothing to do with them. That's your personal opinion on it. Just go find a prop firm that you do like the rules. What I'm saying is that they systematically create rules that they do not make very clear to their customers. They literally have an entire FAQ explaining all the rules. What rule is not clear to you? I guess that's a better way to do it. See, once again, people just like, they lob out these things, but all you have to do is go to their website. So like, Jay, it really sounds like you're just like pissed off that you're bad at trading. I could send you pictures of my certificates passing different pro companies that are now shut down. What does that have to do with anything? Yeah, some of the companies in this industry are super suspect, but also that's, I guess, business in general. If you judge businesses on the fact, like in an industry, on the fact that sometimes there's bad businesses, you would not be using any business in the world ever. Jay, just admit it. You just are not good at trading and you're mad and you're just blaming it on them. I mean, I've made it explicitly clear that it's not easy, but that's because trading's not easy. That's it. Trading's not easy. I'm not bad at trading, and I think you're good at trading. Don't get me wrong. I'm not mad at you, so please don't be rude to me. I'm not being rude, but like what you're saying just is not based in logic. No one's forcing you to use it. If you do use it, the rules are public and they're accessible. They're very clear. There's multiple hour videos explaining them. So what's the confusion? You're not forced to do it. If you do choose to use it, they have rules, and I have at this point no evidence that people who followed rules were stopped from getting payouts. If you have proof of that, send it my way, and maybe I'll change my opinion. But all I could do is go off of this right now. Why are you always so condescending? How is this condescending? This is literally just like, why are we in such a soft world now that if people disagree, they're condescending? Why are you such a pussy? Why are you how am I condescending? I'm literally talking about a logical thing of you don't have to do it. Follow the rules. I'm sharing my own experience. I'm sharing my own insights, and I'm pointing people towards the resources that they could use to come up with their own opinion about this. And then they're like, oh, okay. That's bullet. You guys are just pussies, dude. Like, I don't understand what happened with the generation behind me or what's going on, but over the past couple of years, the internet has become so fucking soft. So absurdly soft. I don't know. Don't be soft. If you're this soft, trading's not for you. I don't know if you have like the mental fortitude to be a successful trader. If you're like, oh, that's belittling. He hurt his feelings. We have to get him in a kumbaya circle. Is this a safe space? Dude, if you're looking for that safe space bullshit, like, you don't belong on the internet. We're going to put you in a room with like a helmet and tell you everything's going to be okay. Like, fuck, dude. We have such pussies these days. Such pussies. Matt, I started watching you during the whole AMC debacle and have only recently started watching again. Very entertaining and happy to be learning from you. All the best. Hey, shout out. Welcome back. I hope, unlike me, I hope you actually made money on AMC. I hope you crushed it on AMC. This is my safe space. Fuck. Dude, that's how I don't get it. These people these days. All right, here's a look at the flow. The Mag 7's the strongest it's been. Looking at the NASDAQ got brutalized till 1031, but now it's showing a bit of a pop. Same thing here with the, let me go over to, I just want to make it consistent. So 30 second, 30 second, 30 second. So here's what happened. Up until 1030, the SPY and the NASDAQ both took a pretty serious hit. But why I think this is actually going to turn around is because of the Mag 7, the leading 7 stocks of the market, actually held strong that entire time. So I feel like this sell-off that we saw in the NASDAQ, in the SPY, I think it's going to be bought up. Obviously, if you choose to take that trade, you do so with you got to respect your risk. You got to, I'm watching this trend line. Obviously, a nice reversal would be all the way up here on the SPY. So respect your risk. It's a nice risk reward trade. If you want to wait for a little bit more confirmation, I'm seeing that the NASDAQ is really popping. The SPY, I would want to see it come up more. It's in quite a negative delta territory right now. We can do a couple other pieces of research. So this is just going to be your delta map. We are in negative gamma. We are in negative delta as well. This is calling for resistance at 6090. This is calling for support at 6040. So that would be, let me say that. I just want to make sure I'm getting the right numbers to you guys. Yeah, resistance at 6090, support at 6040. We are in negative gamma. Does this auto update for me? In terms of the open interest, the biggest open interest right now for the day is 6,200, which is quite far away. We have some open interest at 680. We have some open interest at 35. That is from the condor position that we see, like the debit spread position, not the iron condor. We also see 6,100, 6,110, 6,120. The open interest change from basically market close last night to this moment, we see some action at 6080, 6085. Once again, that's the condor. We also see action at 6,120. This is the volume as of from market close yesterday to right now. There's more calls being traded than puts. The yellow is calls, the blue is puts. The volume with respect of the buys minus the sales, we're seeing a lot of people sell puts and we're seeing a lot of people sell calls. There are some people who are buying calls, some like YOLO calls up here, but most of the action today has been selling premium. Yes, it's more so call focused, but it is selling calls and selling puts. That's why we're below the zero line. And then the expected move for the remainder of the day is 21 points. So if you're basically just looking in at the money straddle and you look at SPX and you look at the 10 minutes, we're at 72. So the expected move for the remainder of the day is once again 22 points. So that would bring us to either 94 or all the way down to 50 is right now what the options market is pricing in. Right now what the options market is pricing in. And hang on, I do like this trade setup, so I'm going to execute a personal trade. Oh, where are we at? Where are we at? Oh, Tonto, oh, Tonto, oh, Tonto, oh, Tonto, oh, Tonto. Do I want to play this? Do I want to play this? Yes, no, yes, no. All right. Let's see if I could get this trade in. Let's see if I could get this trade in. Working, modify. I'm chasing it now. All right, finally got the trade in. All right, if you're in the Discord, I'll be sharing this in a second. Piper didn't fire, but I am slightly front running Piper. But let me send this into you guys right now. And actually, I think literally Piper did just fire. So hold on to your horses. I'm doing my best to get all these the new trade into the Discord. But my Discord is actually deciding to update right now. Look at that recovery. Look at that recovery. All right, Piper. Nope, thick trades. All right, if you are in the Discord, there we go. So that trade's in there. And then also, Piper did fire a minute or two ago. And where are we at? Where are we at? Okay, so that fired. So Piper fired, that's in there. I did my premium selling trade, that's in there. I haven't touched any of my swing trades. I'll update you guys later when I go into the Discord for the day. And I already did my futures trading. So I'm pretty much now done. Like now I've taken care of what I need to take care of, and we're going to see how things play out. I got an alert from Meta. I think that's a new all-time high on Meta. I would like for NVIDIA to turn right back around 127. And then from there, I obviously wanted to take out the intraday high at 127.50. We puked and then cup, handle, and then higher lows. So looking for this to take out 127.10 to push to 120. Whoa. 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 What the fuck is going on? What? Okay, obviously there's breaking news somewhere. Shit. All right, what in the world is going on? That was 7 minutes ago. Something has to be reported. Federal Aviation Administration slowing arrival rate of Washington Reagan National Airport after crash to reduce risk emails to airlines. So there was a crash? FAA says investigators have exposed concern on air traffic tower personnel who have increased level of stress since... What? Federal Aviation Administration slowing arrival rate at Washington... Okay, that's just what they're doing. That wouldn't be the market. What's the breaking news? And we bounce right. What the fuck happened? Does anyone have any newsfeed? Here, newsfeed. EC Press von der Leyen set to pitch CEOs on competitiveness plan. What the fuck is this? What happened here? Yeah, it's bouncing back. Was it just bullshit? I'm not seeing any breaking news from, where is it? That was 49 minutes ago. Oh, where are we at? Was this just, I don't know what the news was that caused things to go haywire. USTR nominee Greer trade, China requires both tariffs and non-tariff barriers. Iran-related sanctions targeting shipping, oil, and energy companies, but that was 17 minutes ago. I'm seeing this. Greer trade with China requires both tariffs and non-tariff barriers. What the fuck? All right, well, I need to set up an alert. Just it's being bought. The dip is being bought, but something caused a clear market overreaction. And look at where it dipped. It dipped right to that downside gap fill. That's crazy, dude. Does anyone have news on this? Matt pushes the DEGEN marketing angle. Yeah, because it's funny. U.S. jobless claims just came out, right? No, dude, you are literally 2 hours and 15 minutes late. You're a terrible trader, Matt. I agree. Terrorist shit. Brian Trump, the Trump pump. Is Trump talking? Is he doing, like, is there a press conference or something? Where are we? Fox. Is Fox live? I don't see Fox live. No. And I'm also not seeing any news over here. I think I'm getting tagged in the Discord. What are we doing? No, not that. Breaking Trump Ukraine peace plan leaked. Trump aims to have Zelensky agree to a ceasefire by April 20th, stopping Russia's advance. Ukraine would be barred from joining NATO under the plan. Kyiv would recognize Russian sovereignty over annexed lands and withdraw troops from Kursk. European, possibly British troops would police a demilitarized zone with no U.S. involvement. When did that come? That's an hour ago. I don't think that's news. Okay, dude, we can't. Don't post things that are like, obviously something happened exactly at 10:39 or whatever. Right here, 10:39. Something happened. I don't need you to post old shit. And now the market doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, that what I just read was not breaking. It's just a low volume day with negative gamma. Obviously not. Someone executed a huge trade right there. That wasn't just like, oh, we've been grinding and calling it negative gamma. I mean, I could show you. That's a ridiculous piece of reasoning right here. Huge volume spike. Someone actively traded with huge size exactly at 10:39. That's just not, oh, negative gamma and the market makers are hedging it. That is a horrible excuse. That is, I mean, you could see it across the board. Someone traded with big size. Oh, was it an individual tech stock? Meta did take a bit of a hit. Microsoft took a hit. Apple was there news related to Apple? It could be Apple specific because that's right where we saw the drop in the NASDAQ and then thus the SPY, and Apple is the biggest stock in the world. So is there Apple specific news? Negative gamma, blaming it on negative gamma, a multi-dollar drop within 10 seconds. That is actually comical. But Apple itself didn't take that big of a hit. This is weird. And then it was bought right back up to show that people were confused, but now we are drifting back down. What in the world is going on today? What in the fuck is going on? Look at that. Right there. 10:39:30, and it persisted for 30 seconds. Then it bounced back up. And now we're getting that drift down. This is more likely from market makers like hedging their book to where they need to be. What in the world? Musk allies sought to use U.S. Treasury paper to shut down U.S. aid spending. That's not breaking news. When you see things like this, it's like from news at that exact moment. It has nothing to do with news from an hour ago, from the previous day. Like when you see abrupt reactions like that, it is literally from like the definition of breaking news. I'm seeing a lot of people who are trying to connect things that we already knew about. Like when you see this, like a huge order just hit the market out of nowhere. It's not from someone like digesting it a bit ago and they're like, oh, okay, now I'm going to do it. It's like from that moment, there is big news. 10:39, dark pools. My thesis is still big players taking profit. That's not true. We can see if it's calls or puts. It's not. You wouldn't take profits like that because you're not going to get out of a full position. You would do it slowly and surely so no one knows you're getting out because that's how you maximize. This was someone aggressively getting into something new. You don't need to have a thesis when we could just literally see what's happening. Someone just dumped calls, bought puts, and they're still doing it. Look at this. Calls sold, but this is an aggressive new put position on the S&P 500. And now even the Mag 7 is vomiting. Yeah, look at this. Calls sold, but also what's concerning here is puts. Like someone got into a put position. We did get the downside gap fill. I wonder if we're going to just bounce off of this. Apple just got smoked out of nowhere. All right, SPY officially did get that downside gap fill. I wonder if this is what the sellers are going to be targeting as a profit level, because before we did undershoot it by about a cent, and now we just officially hit it. So the gap got filled on the Qs and just got refilled, but now we're playing the game of will buyer step in right here. This is going to be an interesting part of the trading session for sure. And it was still not... Fuck. Oh, typo here. All right, we're at the low of the day. Options are still looking pretty beat the fuck up right there at 1039. Someone smoked the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and it was really took a hit on Apple. I didn't finish looking at all the other ones. Amazon was pretty much untouched. Meta took a little bit of a hit. Microsoft took a bit of a hit. Apple took the biggest hit that I could find. Tesla, not like it's looking bad, but it didn't take a hit at 1039. That was Tesla. What about Google? I was almost wondering if it was a China retaliation. So it is Apple and Google, which are both tied up in this China story. So I don't know, man. It feels like it's something going on with China again, because these are the two companies, Google and Apple, are the two being targeted by like this probe and the sanctions by China. And both of them right at 1039 took a hit. So that's interesting. And then we tie that together that the overall market overreacted. I think something's going on with China. Yes, there's been news regarding the impact of 10% on tariff, but like folks, I feel like we're having a disconnect here. It has to be something that just came out at 1029. Like it's not something that we already knew about, because simultaneously at 1039, Apple, Google, and the SPY and the Qs all dropped, and the commonality between all of that is the China tariff thing. So it makes me feel like there was some sort of overreaction, and maybe it was like a bot thing to that. I don't know. I feel like this has the telltale sign that the bots reacted to a piece of news that they interpreted as negative sentiment. And then the market tried to buy it back up because people like us were like, well, hang on, there seems to be no news. But we don't necessarily go right back up to the level that we were at, because remember, even if it's like bullshit, it does have a clear lasting delta impact on the market. When you drop this much, you're burning up time, you're burning up theta. So this, like, it really, even if people are overreacting, it does have a detrimental impact. And obviously the opposite is also true. If you have positive news, that's not real news, but yet the delta is like way higher, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I don't know, maybe some bots went rogue and they're reacting. That's Ukraine. I don't think it would be about that. No, that was 2 hours ago. Is there anything going on with these tariffs? Walter Bloomberg hasn't reported anything. Financial Juice hasn't reported anything. What about BRICS News? China says the Gaza Strip belongs to Palestinians as part of their land, not a bargaining chip in political deals. I think that's older news as well. 13 hours ago, U.S. President Trump administration to present plan to end Russia's war with Ukraine next week. So that, but once again, that was 13 hours ago, 15 hours ago. I'm not seeing any breaking news. I am not seeing any breaking news. Oh, well, we're potentially bouncing it. I don't know. I as of now, I can't find any good example, but the bounce at this point does make sense to bounce off of this downside gap fill. Apple's still looking pretty froggy. Google got hit in options, but the price didn't react that much. So I do find that interesting of how Apple took a hit and the SPY and the Qs took a bigger hit and we're automatically just bouncing. Palantir is still strong as ever. Meta is still pretty strong. NVIDIA took a bit of a hit with it, but overall it's just been range bound all day. Broadcom took a bit of a hit on that. Rumble's holding. Tesla's still looking pretty bad. Netflix looking fine. Microsoft looking fine. Apple went from looking very good to bad now. Coin not looking so good. Strategy not looking so good. DJT fine. ASML lower end of its range. Amazon trying to pick up, does have earnings tonight. What about bonds? Did bonds go haywire? Bonds took a hit, but beforehand. What about the dollar? The dollar index also went wild at that moment. So this has to be a larger thing for the dollar to even be impacted. The dollar just randomly dropped. USD, JPY. Yeah. We have the yen potentially going up, or the dollar just going down, one of those. So we got some weird movement over there. What happened to the vol? Volatility remaining somewhat unimpacted. The VIX is just flat. Mag 7 still trending down. Nasdaq still trending down. S&P still trending down ever since that. For a chance of recovery, obviously you're looking at the SPY taking out 605 and you're looking at the Qs taking out 527.50. Those are the interesting recovery points in my book. If the SPY can get above that, if the Qs could get above this, maybe the market really did just overreact, but I cannot find anything concrete. Reported at, what was reported at 10:30? Check your news channel. What was that 10:30? The natural gas, that's fine. Universal tariff should be studied and considered to see if it can reduce the U.S. trade deficit. Is this really just from Greer? Is that what the bots overreacted to? U.S. tariff should be studied. Universal tariff should be studied. So this kind of has the vibe that the bots saw news about tariffs and just overreacted. They their system said, okay, negative sentiment, they're announcing tariffs. But as a human, we read that and we know that that's just political talk. Universal tariff should be studied and considered to see if it can reduce the U.S. trade deficit. I think we bounce back because this really does have the telltale sign of if that's the news. But even that was at 10:30 and the sell-off was at 10:39. Something's not adding up here. This is not adding up here. I'm not finding anything concrete at that moment in time, but what we do have, the evidence of it was huge hit on Apple, huge hit on Google. The two stocks very specifically related to what's going on with tariffs in China. And then, so maybe that news, my gut is telling me it has to be tariff related because it, not just tariff related, but China tariff related because of the Google and the Apple hit. It happened at exactly the same time. And thus, because we were in a low liquidity environment, the SPY and the Qs also got hit. And right away, there's no follow through. So it's not like people are that panicked, but it tried to bounce back up. It couldn't hold. VIX didn't do that much. VIX actually was fine. Apple's still getting hit from this. Whether it actually does or doesn't, the trade itself seemed to very much relate to the China tariff narrative, the China tariff situation, just because of the things that were directly impacted all at exactly the same time. We saw the dollar drop, we saw Apple get hit, we saw Google get hit, and then thus the overall market and the Qs also took a hit, and now we just settled. So from a technical standpoint, it did get that nice gap fill. So anyone who's playing the lower highs and the lower lows looking for that breakdown, congrats, because you did get your gap fill. Let's check out GexSpot. There's now support at 50. There's now big support at 50, and the resistance is still at 80. So hang on, let me go to this. Yeah. So we did touch yesterday's close at 61, which that red-green move is going to be support. But just to call it out, there is big option support right here at 6,050. So that's obviously 10 points, about a buck lower than where we already went on the SPY. So right around here, I can mark that out. That is a big options level right there, big options level. And then to the upside, it's the same one we've seen all morning where we kind of undershot at this lower high here right at 680. So I'm personally hoping for a recovery out of this. Right now, I'm not the most optimistic. The Mag 7 still looks like shit. Apple's still most likely being sold. The NASDAQ is showing a little bit of life and the SPY is completely flat. So at this point, we are getting into that midday grind session. Please be careful. Please be absurdly careful. It seems like a large overreaction to news that doesn't really seem like legitimate news. I think the probability does favor a bounce back to at least this trend line to maybe 528.50. Like I'm looking for that bounce back, but I wouldn't be doing anything until I see that those trades actually being executed in the market, and then I'll be looking for the support to hold. I'll be looking for resistance to be broken. So obviously I'll be keeping my eye on this tool right here, which is absolutely phenomenal to kind of pick out what in the hell is going on. So wild trading session as always. SPY's taking another hit. NASDAQ is fine. It's because of the Mag 7. Something, is it Apple? Is Apple still just being aggressively sold now? Not as much. Like it took that big hit. It's not being aggressively sold. Is it Google? Something in the Mag 7 is having a rough go of it today. Tesla, I mean, that's down for sure. It's not Meta. Meta is actually very strong. It's not Microsoft. Microsoft also took a hit there for some longer duration stuff, but it's flat at the moment. Amazon? We didn't see anything in Amazon before. It's not Amazon. Netflix? Not really Netflix. Dude, what a strange situation we are in now. What an absolutely strange situation. All right, folks. That's pretty much it for here. At this point, we are getting into more of that choppy midday session, so be careful. This is not the time to throw on those hero trades and be slinging massive size by any means. So be careful. Check the options flow. Watch those levels of support. This is weird news. I'll be monitoring it to see what is going on. And this is why we are, as I've been saying this since last week, but I'm just going to keep reiterating it. We're clearly in the environment where, like, you either want to be doing larger swing trades over days and weeks, or you want to be doing like your scalp trades with like good, reasonable stops in there. But like the full trading day session, we're just getting random movements and craziness. So you got to be prepared for that. You got to be protecting that. So that's what I have for you for now. Check out GexBot, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And also an additional shout out to Rumble Premium. Don't forget to use that code KOHRS10, KOHRS10 to get the discount on that annual Rumble Premium membership. So highly recommend checking that out. Both are pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. I'll see you guys in the Discord. We'll be posting an update later on today, and then tomorrow we're going to stream early because of the unemployment report. And on top of that, we're doing a payday Friday. So lots of stuff going on between now and tomorrow. So be careful. This is a crazy environment. I do think the odds are more likely for a bounce back, just to throw that out there. But even if you're taking that trade, make sure you are protecting your downside. You got to protect your downside. That's what I have for you for now. I'll be catching on the flippity flip. Love you all. Hope you make those tendies. Peace.